Hello, Dumaguete!
Hello, Negros Oriental!
Hello, Sillimanians around the world!
This is Joshua Soldivillo.
And this is Ronelyn Vailoces.
You're watching
Silliman. Good evening, everyone. This is a magazine program that talks about different aspects of Silliman University.
A program initiated to discuss matters concerning the campus by the sea. Welcome to
Silliman.
Mayong gabi sa tanan, and again, happy Founders Day to all Sillimanians, of course, who are here in the campus and every Sillimanian around the world. I'm very sure that you were able to enjoy our Parada Sillimaniana and all our exciting activities and events that we prepared for you. And of course, to all our units and colleges and departments who prepared their own respective events during the Founders Day, congratulations, and we look forward to more celebrations next year. And talking about celebrations, one of the highlights as well for this year, actually every year, is what we call the Church Workers' Convocation, mainly organized by the Divinity School. To talk more about this, we have our guests tonight. Allow me to introduce first, we have Reverend Wella Hoyle de Rosas, a member of the faculty list of the Divinity School, who is now undergoing a faculty development program. So good evening, Reverend Wella, and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and to all the viewers.
Tonight, we also have here with us Reverend Dr. Van Tibus, a faculty member of the Divinity School.
Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to your show.
Welcome, sir. And of course, we have the former dean, and now she chairs the Silliman University Divinity School Grand Centennial celebration, right? We have Reverend Dr. Jeaneth. Good evening, Dean. I still call her Dean, but anyway, good evening, Dean, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our alumni members and of course to all our viewers.
Okay, so Ron, our episode tonight is very sacred and very holy and solemn.
That's true.
So I'm not sure how to begin our conversation. Maybe we should begin it with a prayer. All right,
We can do that.
Okay. But kidding aside, thank you for joining us, and we would like to know, how does it feel that finally you're seeing people in flesh in the campus? We see traffic along Cliburn Avenue, and we see cars parked around the campus. How does it feel, Reverend Dr. Van?
Yeah, it's quite a wonderful experience actually. It's good to not only stare at the screen, but actually have people in front of you, and you can see all the gestures, the bodily gestures, and so it's good to be having these face-to-face classes. So yeah, we survived the pandemic, and yeah, by God's grace.
Amen. Okay. Hallelujah. All right. Pastor Wella.
Oh yes, for my personal experience, I'm actually excited and emotional when I got to meet the students in the campus. I was really surprised and actually overwhelmed with the presence of the students, and I feel that there is no replacement for the face-to-face classes.
Right.
So we really need this for the teachers as well, and I'm happy to see the campus filled with a lot of people, especially the students.
Yes, of course, definitely. I think we share the same feeling, Pastor Well, no? Like that emotional feeling, no? But I will not cry for this episode. Dean Jeaneth.
Of course, I'm very happy to have our students in the campus, especially that we have new students. They're also very excited to be with us. You know, this morning we had our orientation, and we see face-to-face our students. It's really different when you interact with the students. So it's really nice. Although at the same time, it's very challenging because, you know, different concerns will be shared to you by the students. But again, it's still nice to have them in the campus.
Right. Especially those students, Ron, that have not yet been here really for 2 years. So it's their first time to be in the campus, right? Very exciting.
Now, Dean, let's talk about the church workers' convocation. For the benefit of our viewers, what is it all about, and why do we celebrate it?
So I asked Van to answer
this
that.
one. Yeah, the church workers convocation is actually started by the alumni of the Divinity School. It started in 1961, and that's why perhaps it's also tied to the Founders Day, because it's an alumni event.
Right.
But eventually it became so big that those who are interested to join the church workers convocation, because we see it as a continuing theological education. You know, education is always ongoing, and so eventually it became a big event that friends, council members of the church, those who are interested in the life and ministry of the church, they come, and even international partners have become part of the church workers convocation. So that's why supposedly it was first by the alumni, but it just grew so big that anyone can come and join us. Yeah.
So usually we hear, Ron, that the Divinity School is one of the, how would you say, of the, let's say, highest quality when it comes to theological education or theology education.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we see now like a gathering also. So I think, you know, part of the different church groups are really interested to be in Silliman. But briefly, Dean, before we go to the details of this year's CWC, can you walk us down the memory lane when pandemic struck us? How did you do the CWC?
We had an online CWC virtual. So we celebrated actually in 2019. We had our pre-Centennial celebration, and we did it virtually. And then last year also we had it also virtually. And we had a lot of participants actually. So it was nice because it was not only our alumni who attended, who participated, but we were able to reach out to our partners also outside the country. So lots of people participated in our activities.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it
this
was-
year, CWC must be, what do you call this one? Special because we
That's true.
survived the pandemic, and then
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the,
Yeah.
hiatus, and we are back.
Yeah, we're very excited to see all our friends and batches. Usually, when you're a graduate from the Divinity School, it's also a time where you can also see one another
Yeah, that's
after a
true.
long time. So yeah.
Right, so let's talk about this year's Church Workers Convocation. What is the theme and what are the major highlights that you can share to us?
Our theme this year, actually, it's not simply as church workers convocations. As I've mentioned, this is also our Grand Centennial celebration.
okay.
Because supposedly our Centennial celebration was last year, but because it was pandemic and now we were not able to gather face to face, so the alumni said, why don't we celebrate our Centennial this year? So that is why we call it Grand Centennial Celebration. So our theme this year is celebrating and reaffirming our hope for healing.
Wow.
So this is our theme this year. So we'll start, the opening will be on the 28th. We are going to have our opening worship. And after the opening worship, we're going to have the unveiling, and we are going to recognize our former deans, and then unveiling of the portraits of our deans, and unveiling also of our alumni collage, and then of course the soft launching of Dr. Sitoy's book, History of the Divinity School. So that would be on the 28th. And then the 29th, we're going to have the Bible study, and at the same time, we're going to have the workshop. So because it's healing, so more of our activities would be on clinical pastoral education, something like that. So that is why our speakers are from the psychology department. So, and then in the afternoon, because the alumni said, let's have some sort of fellowship, games, and something like that. So the alumni will be leading and facilitating some sort of sports fest in the afternoon. And Palarong Pinoy also in the afternoon on the 29th. And in the evening, we are going to have our cultural show. So you know the Divinity School is known to have this, our original
one of the
cultural
highlights.
show. You know, so we are going to have that this year again. And then on the 30th, we are going to have our the exposition of the theme to be facilitated, and our speaker is our very own Reverend Dr. Van Cliburn Tibus. And then after that, we are going to have the continuation of the workshop. And in the afternoon, we're going to have our alumni meeting, and then after that, we are going to have our Diaconia Awards. So we have, this year we have 5 awardees.
Awardees. Okay.
3 internationals and 2 locals.
All right. So, Dean, can you talk more about what is this Diaconia Award all about?
Actually, this is in recognition of the service they have rendered. No, it can be in the church or in the institution, but usually of course, our awardees are our alumni.
Yeah.
You know? So, but this year, because we said this is our Grand Centennial celebration, let's make it different. So we are going to award our former fraternal workers. That is why this year we have 3, as I've said, I mentioned a while ago, we have 3 awardees or internationals, but they were former fraternal workers of the Divinity School. One from Canada, one from USA, and one from Indonesia. And 2 locals, of course, former faculty of the Divinity School. So we have 1 posthumous awardee this year, and 1 former conference minister of one of our conferences here in Visayas. So that's it.
Wow.
And then, of course, I should not forget, in the
Yeah.
evening, we're going to have our banquet. And the alumni said, let's celebrate. So we will have...
Who are invited in this banquet, Dean?
those who are going to attend the church work, the
Okay.
Centennial celebration.
So this is happening on
the 30th.
this 30th.
Yeah,
Okay.
Priorities, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then-
it's official and recorded.
This will be, they said, a night of dance and song, or a dance, a night of music. So we are. This is what the alumni requested. And on the 31st, that's the last day, we're going to have our theological discussion. So we have a small group. We invited 2 speakers, also one from the US and one from Union Theological Seminary in Cavite, who will serve as our speaker on the 31st. So that would be the end of our celebration. Thank
All
you.
right, so we're running out of time. We just have to take a short break.
Okay.
But when we come back, we know that definitely we are going face-to-face, transition, but we have to observe some protocols. So while we celebrate, how do we observe these protocols? Let's talk about this when #Silliman returns. Stay with us.
And now we're back. Thank you for staying with us earlier before we took a break.
Joshua asked the question of all the activities lined up for this year's Grand Centennial celebration. How do we observe safety protocols and health guidelines? I think Pastor Wella could answer that question.
Thank you, Ma'am Ron. Yes, as we are all excited to celebrate Church Workers' Convocation, this time it would be face-to-face, and it's challenging for us because we know we just survive the pandemic, and now we will meet each other and have this fellowship. So one of the major importance that we need to consider is the safety of our participants. So while preparing for this, we sent earlier our registration form. We encourage our participants to register online so that we will have at least initial numbers of how many are coming to our church workers convocation. Although we can also facilitate and welcome those who cannot register online. Aside from that, we also strictly abide the protocols of our university. In fact, we asked some guidelines from our COVID Crisis Committee headed by Dr. Waldin Orsos and Sir Jules Luxin on how can we do, especially in planning for our venues, in planning for how we can accommodate our participants. And luckily, we were permitted to use some of our facilities. Of course, with the strict observation of our face mask, social distancing. In fact, in our registration kit, we put our COVID kit with face masks and alcohols. It's the same with other colleges. We, as much as we want to encourage also our participants to be fully vaccinated.
Yeah, Ron, every year it's also the kit that we look forward to, right?
So this time it's COVID kit.
It's a COVID kit. But I think you already have your registration online. Do we have an estimated number of participants for the CWC this year?
We estimated around 200 to 300 participants.
Wow.
Yes, it's quite a big number. We are happy to accommodate them. At the same time, it's a challenge for us. And the activities is mainly for continuing theological education and fellowship for our dear alumni and friends.
Now let's talk about the academic offerings of Divinity School. So what are the certificate programs, bachelor's programs, perhaps graduate school? Huh?
Okay. So before I answer that, I would like to emphasize that the Silliman University Divinity School is considered to be one of the centers for theological education in Southeast Asia. And so we're proud to say that. And at the same time, we are considered to be the leading formation center of the United Church of Christ in the Philippines. So we are one of the schools here in the Philippines that can offer different programs from Bachelor of Theology to Doctor of Theology. So we have Bachelor of Theology, we have Master of Divinity, thesis track, and non-thesis. The thesis track, you can decide if you want to have Master of Divinity major in Biblical Studies, in Theology, in Christian Education, in Church Administration. Then at the same time, we also offer the Master of Theology. This is for teaching. So that is why many schools, many students also are coming not only from the United Church of Christ in the Philippines, but also from the Philippines and outside of the Philippines, because we're the one who can offer this program for teaching. So Master of Theology, major. There are also different majors like Christian Education, Theology, Biblical Studies. When we say Biblical Studies, it could be Old Testament or New Testament. And then now we have also Mission Studies. So then we offer also Doctor of Theology. So in the Philippines, there are few schools or seminaries that offer Doctor of Theology. And why we are able to offer Doctor of Theology? Because we have also LATS or qualified doctoral degree holder faculty. So our Doctor of Theology, we also have Doctor of Theology in Christian Education, in Biblical Studies, in Theology, in Ethics, and of course in Mission Studies. So we also have certificate program. Especially, I forgot that we also offer Bachelor of Liturgy and Music. So in Bachelor of Liturgy and Music, we offer certificate. So certificate in Liturgy and Music, and this is ladderized actually. So those are our programs. And we have one program which is especially for our Bachelor of Theology graduates, and that is Master of Ministerial Studies, major in spiritual care, or major in leadership and management. So those are our programs in the Divinity School.
Yeah.
So I think wrong, no? Given that roster of programs, that would also accordingly mean that you also have like a roster of competent faculty
Yes.
and of course recognized scholars, not only in the country but even in the Southeast Asian region. I'd like to ask Pastor Wella now, because you said that you are now actually doing your master's study. Is this right?
This is part of the faculty development program where the Divinity School invited me to be part of it. Now my concentration, I'll be doing some bridging courses, mainly for the Christian ethics under the mentorship of Dr. Aguilan. So at the same time, I'm also teaching. That's part of the requirements as well.
This is like a master's program.
Yes, bridging courses because
Bridging.
I had another major, so
Okay.
I need to be in line with the Christian ethics.
Right.
for
So,
courses.
being a student yourself in the Divinity School, what do you think? And I'm sure you've been also to different theological institutes, but not just really to compare. But as far as your experience is concerned, what do you think makes Silliman education different from the others?
Wow, it's a nice question because I also came from the Divinity School as part of my bachelor's degree, and I could really see how different Silliman Divinity School, particularly on the kind of community life. They say the Formation Center, the Divinity School, mainly the role of our students and the community itself contribute a lot to the learnings of the students. If I may say, it also an opportunity for us to develop this special relationship, especially after graduation, we become colleagues
Right.
in the ministry. So it's different. We feel like we are a family. It's part of our Filipino culture that we are socially connected with one another. So aside from that, you can also learn many things relevant theologies in the Divinity School. As Dr. Jeaneth mentioned, we tried our curriculum to be relevant to the issues that we are experiencing these days. So we are historically, culturally, and contextually relevant to the students, the way we teach our subjects, and at the same time, we build a kind of community. So I guess that's something that I will forever cherish, and I would love to also encourage some of those who will be part of the ministry to choose divinity, because we are not just an academic institution, but we are a community. We are a faith community that continues to grow, learn, and equip more pastors in the church.
And serve, right?
And serve, yes.
Thank you for that, Pastor Wella. And this question is supposed to be included for our fast talk. But I'd like to hear a further explanation from Pastor Van about this. Since we are talking about a church workers' convocation, what are the qualities that a church worker must possess?
Oh,
Yeah.
the qualities of a church worker must
Yes.
possess. Well, we do have a belief that it's not the person's qualities that equip you to the ministry, but it's God calling you to the ministry.
So it's a calling.
It's a calling.
Vocation.
It's basically a vocation, a calling, because we have experienced so many students, so many diverse, from different classes, from all over the world. But the one thing that really shines out, and I believe our students have, is that sense of calling. That sense of calling that we are called to be part of the ministry. So, and that is enough to equip you. So we as faculty members are also like called to equip these students for them to be in preparation to do ministry. So in a sense, you could also see that sometimes, because Silliman University emphasized the academic intelligence, right? Reading, writing, mathematics. But you can see that across ranges, you can see multiple intelligence in our students. They may not be very good in writing, but they're very good in dancing, they're very good in music, they're very good in all aspects of... Yeah, that's true. And so that gives us a sense of community also, because that is the one thing that binds us together, that sense of calling, that to be part of the ministry. So we have a saying that it's not our qualities that equip us for the Divinity School, it's that sense of call that equips us to be in the ministry.
I love
Yeah.
that. I think this is the end of the episode. I think I should also wait for the calling. But yeah, I think that's a wonderful way to put it, Pastor Van, when it comes to this line of mission and vocation, that, you know, no matter how intelligent you may be in terms of, you know, knowing all the verses, but at the end of the day, it's really the heart, you know, that will sustain you, the love to be with the community and to be able to be of service in the glory of God's name. And before we go to the fast talk, because we're also running out of time, I'd like to ask also Dean Jeaneth to promote your programs, and if ever there are interested parties to be part of the SCDS family, sino yung i-contact? Do you have email address, phone number? Go ahead, Dean.
So everyone who is interested to enter into the ministry, especially to have this theological training, you are welcome to the Divinity School. You can contact us actually, and you can also go to our website, you know, Silliman website. So just feel free to contact any one of us, and we will welcome you at the Divinity School.
Do you have a Facebook page, Dean?
Yes, we also have our Facebook page.
All right. So now we are going to engage you in a fast talk.
Okay.
So we will just be giving 2 options, and you don't have to think too hard, okay? You don't have to wait for a calling. Okay. Ron, you'd like to start?
Yes. Let's start with Pastor Wella. Is it your home or the campus?
Her home is the campus.
I live in the campus for quite a long time. So both, I think.
Okay. Ma'am Jeaneth, is it the baked siopaw or the cheese bread?
Siopaw.
Siopaw. Okay.
Pastor, is it the church or the office?
Church.
Church.
Pastor Wella, are you more of a night owl or an early bird?
Night.
Night owl.
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Jean, is it your love life or your career?
Ay.
Love life.
Kinilig bigla.
I think I should also ask Pastor Van, is it love or career?
Oh, love career?
We should ask all of them. Pastor Wella.
Love career.
We can do both, I think.
Okay, Pastor Van, 3 things that you always love about Silliman University's Founders Day celebration. 3 things.
3 things. Hibalak,
Okay, that's 1.
the students,
Okay.
and the gym.
The gym.
Yeah, I like the
I
gym.
think all of them must complete this sentence.
Okay.
Silliman University Divinity School is love. Dean?
My life.
Pastor?
Training.
Training.
Training. All right. So on that note, thank you very much, Dean Jeaneth, Pastor Van, Pastor Wella, for joining. We enjoyed the conversation.
We enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thank
Yes. We learned about our calling. So this is now the last segment of the show. It's called #WTP, or Words to Ponder. So Ron, what's the word you've picked that you'd like to ponder for this episode?
I'd like to ponder on the word vocation and calling.
Okay.
No, it's because it's such a nice word, because I'd like to pick up on what Pastor said, that it's not about your qualities, but it's all about God's plan for you. Because I always believe that no matter how we plan our lives, God will orchestrate whatever is meant to be for you. So sometimes when we think that our plans didn't work, we must always believe that God's delay is God's protection. How about you, Josh? What is your words to ponder?
Well, my words to ponder is calling, no? I think I'd like to pick up I think they kept on mentioning the word community. And I think it's very important. I think that really makes Silliman education stand out among others, because we really make sure here that even in other academic units, that we have this sense of community, sense of belongingness, you know, regardless if you're female, male, regardless if you are, you know, slim like me or not so slim, you know, so there's no boundaries for you for so long that you are called to serve and serve according to your talents. I think that's very important, because as they say that the strongest link is as weak as the least link that has been given attention to. So, you know, at the end of the day, no man is an island.
True.
We have to be together, right? So I think we just have to make sure also it's our duty to make others to feel that they belong as well, right? I think that's also one thing that we have to do as Christians. All right. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Keep safe, everyone, and enjoy the Founders Day celebration. To God be the glory. Hey there, Sillimanians! Thank you for joining our episode tonight. Support as well our Facebook page. It's called #Silliman. We also have a YouTube channel. It's called #Silliman as well. Don't forget to click the notification bell for you to be updated with our recent posts. Happy Founders Day!
And don't forget to catch us on Phil Products every Monday at 8 p.m. And replays will be shown every Tuesday before the noontime news and Saturdays after the noontime news. This has been Ronelyn Vailoces
and Joshua Soldivillo. Kita-kits next week on the Here On
#Silliman!